What is going on, my YouTube compadres? You are joining me once again from the beach. Now, if you've been watching my videos, I come to the beach all the time. Not to swim in it, but I kind of like riding near the beach. It's very relaxing, and riding a bike like the F900R in places like this, being in a comfortable position like I always wanted with a motorcycle, is something that I really enjoy. Now let's turn our attention to the F900R, the main subject of this video. So, this video I'm making because there are a couple things I don't like about this bike, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So in order to bond with a motorcycle, there are things that you have to like about it, and just like a human being, we tend to bond with things and eventually find things that we don't like about it. So just like a human being, I found things that I don't like about this motorcycle. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about in this video. The first thing I want to talk about, since we're already parked over here, is the fact that this motorcycle leans in way too much to the left. Now if you look at the foot pegs, I got my GoPro battery over here. Alright, let's put that back in my pocket so I don't forget it. I was changing my GoPro battery and I put it on the seat and it fell. I'm glad I saw it. So you see, if I wasn't talking about the first thing I didn't like about this bike, I would have never found it. So anyways, if you look at the bike, right, it is leaned over way too much to the left. It seems like his kickstand is way too short, and it's making the bike go down way too low, and as a result of that, when I get back on the bike, it takes a lot of strength in the beginning to get this bike up and going. I do want to mention that this has been an incredible bike for me because if you've watched my 1500 mile review, I did talk about taking this bike to the track. I did drag racing with it, which beat out most of the freaking bikes, man. Can you believe a 465 pound bike that has only 100 horsepower is going to beat out probably everything that's out there? So very impressed with this motorcycle on stock tires, and weighing as much as it is, it beat out all those bikes. And I think all of it comes down to the quick shifter, that I could just literally wide open throttle, which I was, through every single gear starting from first gear. Everyone was pretty impressed with it, considering it's such a big, heavy bike. So the first thing I mentioned already, it's that the bike leans way too much to the left. And now we're going to get back on the bike. We're going to take it for a spin, talk about all the other things. If you're not a strong person or a big person, getting it upright is a lot of work, and it's pretty heavy. So that's the first thing. So the second thing I want to talk about is that the quick shifter on this motorcycle is just not smooth, man. First and second, even third gear, it upsets the suspension, and it's not comfortable for me because it jolts me back, like every single time it shifts up a gear. It's not smooth. I feel like if it's going to have a quick shifter, it should be butter smooth, and it's not. I've ridden other bikes and they were smooth, and they were around the same price point. I get the fact that F900 is not the most expensive BMW, but I paid 11.5 grand for it, and it's right up there with motorcycles that are similar in price range and features, such as the Street Triple RS. That being said, the quick shifter is something that hopefully improves over time, but from what I've heard, it is what it is, and it's just something I'm just gonna have to get used to. So that's another thing. Third thing is that, and this is really not even an issue because I've proved otherwise, is the weight. It weighs 465 frickin' pounds. But here's the kicker though. I have no idea how BMW has made this bike so goddamn fast. It does 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Because if you haven't watched the drag race video, make sure to go check that out right now. That video will surprise you because I beat the shit out of almost everything that day. And if you watch that video and you look at the ratio of likes to dislikes, it's pretty much even, because people that own the motorcycles that I beat have given it a dislike. I can guarantee you that without a shadow of the doubt. People that watch the F900 video are probably rooting for me, but the people that own those motorcycles, that are searching for their bikes on YouTube and checking out that video, are probably pretty triggered at this point, and I don't blame them. regardless, I really don't care if people like the video or not, but it's just it just proves the fact that 465 pounds on a motorcycle that only has 100 pounds can still kick freaking ass with a quick shifter. So I don't like the fact that it's 465 pounds. Just imagine for a fact that this motorcycle weighed 420 pounds. How much quicker would 100 horsepower be? So that's something I'll never find out. So the other thing I don't like is that this bike is so brand new. Now you may be wondering, what are you talking about, Will? Brand new? Yeah, so that's why is that a bad thing? Well, you see, the thing is that I want to mod the bike, and there's really nothing available for it, considering it's such a brand new bike. And I'm not sure within the competition space how popular this bike is amongst other bikes like Street Triple RS. So that might be a low motivation for other manufacturers to start creating third-party products for this bike ASAP. And they're kind of slow to it. Usually when a motorcycle or a car or any kind of vehicle is released, there's usually a plethora of modifications that are available for a bike or a car, right? But in this situation, like, I'm looking around and there's no exhaust available for it. There's no tail tidies available for it. I'm looking for like frame sliders, you know, like things to make it my own, right? Things that are third-party modifications that are specifically made for this bike just don't exist yet. Now I understand it's a brand new bike, it only came out a few months ago, but I don't know if that's really a good excuse. I think that most manufacturers, like I mentioned, see the bike and then start creating stuff for it, you know, when they see it during EICMA, because manufacturers, they like software manufacturers, they have a developer kit, right? And they send those developer kits to developers way ahead of time before the software comes out. So in a situation like where a new motorcycle or a car comes out, manufacturers are going to send their developers, their hardware developers, all the specs so they can start creating new products for the motorcycle. So in this situation, I don't know if that's an excuse because the bike is so new and there's nothing available. I just think that maybe the bike is not so popular and manufacturers weren't feeling that excited to come out with a lot of products for this bike yet, and maybe that's what could be causing the delay. So that's another thing I don't like about it. Having a YouTube channel, people like to watch videos like install builds, you know, like I'm gonna install a new exhaust and I'm gonna install a tail tidy. People like watching those kind of things, and I feel like I'm kind of running out of content for you guys. Like, I don't want to create the same boring stuff, right? And I also want to personalize the bike to my taste and to my style, and that's something that I can't do at the current moment. My bike looks just like yours and like every other person's, and that's something that I don't like about this bike. Hopefully that explained and gave you good, valid reasons. First and second gear, it upset the suspension again and pushed me back a little bit, kind of like, you know, like this. I don't know, man, I don't like that. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that at all, not on a brand new bike. And last but not least, the final thing that this bike annoys me with is the Bluetooth headset. It just does not connect. It's very wonky. Like, I paired it and I paired the Bluetooth headset, but the thing is that as soon as I turn on the bike, I don't know if I should have my headset on first or turn on the bike first. So with that said, I've tried both ways. I've turned on my headset first and then turned on the bike. It won't connect. I've turned on the bike first and then the headset. It won't connect. So then what I do is I go into the menu screen and then I go into connections and I try to manually connect. It takes a while before it actually does connect. Sometimes I have to turn off my Senna and I have to turn it back on for it to connect. So it's not 100% reliable, and I know this is a software issue, and I'm sure that they're going to come up with an update later on for it. But like I said, you know, a lot of these things are just niggles that one can potentially live with. But I thought I'd be candid and honest with you and tell you about the things that I don't like about this bike, and that pretty much wraps it up. The heaviness of the bike, I wish it was a little bit less weight. The shifter, I wish it was a little bit smoother. The kickstand, I wish it was a little bit longer because the bike is super heavy to bring back to the center. Let's see what else was there. Oh, there's really not that many products available for it, so I can't install the modifications that I want to. And I think there was like one or two other things, but who cares at this point? The bike is still a great bike. I'm not putting it down by any means. If you got this bike, you may not have issues that I have. Like, you're just loving it. And I'm not saying I'm not loving it, but I thought I'd point out these things to you because I have all these videos about it, but I don't have any candid videos about things that I don't like about it. And I thought this video would be something that would represent my true feelings about how I feel after 1,500 miles. That pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's a great bike. I have no problems with it. Just some of the niggles that I have, and quite frankly, every bike I've ever owned, there have been a few things that I don't like about it. So it's not like this bike is any different than any other thing. You know, they're just small little issues that I think over time should go away. And you know, like third-party products and all that other stuff, they'll be available sooner or later. And then I can get rid of this diving board, put some frame sliders, make it a little bit louder and more exciting. So that about wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.